Well, here we are. Day one of the Northern Forest Canoe Trail. Headed from Old Forge to Fort Kent, Maine. If you're familiar with the trail, you will figure out that I am not where the trail technically starts. I started my trip this morning from Adirondack Woodcraft Camps, where I used to spend all my summers as a kid growing up. And I am portaging down to the Moose River, and I'll put on the Moose River and paddle down into town a couple miles, and then portage down a road until I get to Old Forge Pond, where the western terminus of the trail technically is. It was supposed to be rainy today, but we've got some bright blue skies, so we'll take it. We will check in when we get down to the Moose. You know, for a weather forecast that called for thunderstorms and rain, this is kind of a treat of a morning to start the trail. This is the Moose River leading into Old Forge. I've probably paddled this river, I can't tell you how many times. Growing up, you know, at Adirondack Woodcraft Camps on either day trips or part of longer overnight trips. And so coming back here 20-something years later, it's pretty special. I do enjoy it. Well, here is my destination at the end of the Moose River. The river does keep going down farther into town, but I'm gonna take out here. And it's like, I think it's a little over a mile portage on the road down North Street down to Old Forge Pond, where the official start of the trail is. So I'll take out here, put the wheels on, and go sign in and actually start my trip. Made it to the western terminus of the Northern Forest Canoe Trail on Old Forge Pond. Just had to portage down that road for a little while off the Moose, but we made it here, and then we get to fight the wind and try to beat the thunderstorms. The goal is 7th Lake, and kind of got to get there, so start paddling. I tell you what, going from not paddling a single time since last year to paddling across these lakes into a headwind, not that much fun. Not that much fun. What do you think? Is it posted? It's peaceful out here when there's no boats. Any other time I've ever been out here has just been in the middle of summer, and there's a highway of boats from all these camps that are all seasonals. So right now there's nobody here. It's kind of a treat. There's some rain showers coming through right now, so I'm just taking some shelter under a tree until it passes. The radar shows that it should be out of here in 10 minutes or so. So rather than dig out all my rain pants and actual rain jacket instead of this windbreaker I'm wearing, I'm just gonna sit here until it goes by and go dive out into 4th Lake. Whew. Finally made it to the end of 4th. That was a trip. Man, it was white caps there for a while and pouring rain. It's still sprinkling a little bit, but that was rough. So needless to say, I'm happy to see this little channel. This is a site I've been looking forward to practically all day. This is the bridge from where 6th Lake crosses into 7th Lake. My campsite is on 7th Lake on the shoreline over here, so just gotta paddle into more headwind and get there and set up camp and kind of unwind for the night. Can't even get the waves to come from one direction. They're coming from like 4. Finally made it to home for the evening. Morning, day 2. I'm on 7th Lake. It was cold last night. I ended up sleeping in my full rain gear, trying to stay warm, but we survived. It rained all night. The wind shifted this morning though, so it's actually going the direction that I'm going for a change, which would be a nice treat. So I just have a short paddle down to 8th Lake Campground, portage across that, short paddle across 8th Lake, and then on to Racket. Made it through the portage from 7th Lake to 8th Lake through the 8th Lake Campground. Now I'm on 8th Lake. This is the calmest water I've seen all trip. So I will enjoy this all the way across until I have another 1.5 mile portage. Well, finally made it to the boardwalk that leads out to Brown's Tract. This is always such a cool, peaceful area. Came out here last year and it was scorching hot. A little different this year. Still raining. Misting, I guess. I don't know. Could be worse. I'm hoping that Racket isn't too windy and I can easily make my way across that. It's kind of known for being windy. It's pretty wide open, so find out when we get there. I'm gonna come up here and take a little breather after this long portage. Enjoy the scenery. And we will move on. Well, if you're at all curious where I've been and where I'm going, my trip technically started up here at Adirondack Woodcraft Camps. I snaked my way down the Moose River to North Street and portaged into Old Forge Pond through First Lake, Second Lake, Third Lake. Dealt with the strong headwinds all the way across Fourth Lake into, if you can call that a lake, Fifth Lake. Short portage over to Sixth. Fought the wind and the rain through 7th, and I stayed at this lean-to here. And then this morning I've gotten up, portaged through the 8th Lake Campground, across 8th Lake, and I just finished this portage into Brown's Tract, which is right here. So I have to finish through Brown's Tract and go north through Racket Lake. This way. You know, portage across over to Forked, down Forked Lake into the Racket River, go around Buttermilk Falls, and ideally get to this lean-to. It's really the last campsite for a while once you get into Long Lake. So I'll tackle that tomorrow and hopefully better weather. Well, here we are on Racket Lake. Sun is trying to pop out, just not quite there yet. I have to go to the north in that direction. Thankfully, what little breeze there is at my back, so we will take it. Made it to Forked Lake, last lake of the day before I dive into the Racket River. Said the sun's supposed to poke out this afternoon, which it might. Racket was rough. I mean, I was out there all day and it's just rain. I'm soaked. Definitely looking forward to some warmer days where things can actually stay dry. Don't have to keep wringing stuff out, trying to mop out my canoe. But sit here and have a snack. Push through that last little bit up to Buttermilk Falls and a couple portages to the campsite. Made it to the end of Forked. This is the Forked Lake Campground. There's a portage just down a road, just to avoid, there's that dam over there that releases a bunch of water out of the lake, so we'll avoid that. Take the road, put back in. Don't have too far to go down the river before we got to take out again at Buttermilk Falls, so we'll check in again there. Running out of the big windy lakes onto the river, where I can kind of just relax for a little bit and let the current take me. takeout up here at Buttermilk Falls. That portage won't be that fun, but I'll make it happen. Well, I made it to Buttermilk Falls and it sounds feisty. Definitely don't want to go over that, so I will be taking out over there, portaging around and putting back in below it. Morning number 3, raining yet again. Another cold and rainy day. Slept pretty good, except had one frightening instance. Got out in the middle of the night, came over here to go pee, and while I was doing so, that tree fell. I had no lights, I had no idea what was going on. It was terrifying. And I just went in the tent and assumed it was a tree that fell. And come out this morning to see that indeed that tree tried to take me out at 1 in the morning. Kind of crazy. I'm sure if I was not around to hear it, it still would have made a sound. Another day of paddling into the wind and rain. Yeah. I'm in the town of Long Lake. Nice little amenity here. Flush bathrooms, outlets to charge up my battery bank. And across the street I was able to get a nice hot coffee, cinnamon scone. So I was able to have a little something warm while my battery charged. Got 10-ish more miles to the end of the lake and then I'll be in the Racket River and about 5 or so miles down there till my campsite for tonight. So the wind has died down a little bit, rain went away for now. I'm sure it'll be back, but try to pack back up and get back on the water. After a long day on Long Lake in the wind, I am finally on the Racket River. This is nice. I have been looking for flat water for a long time. Finally found it here. Still no sun. Have a little ways to go and then have a portage around Racket Falls and then figure out which lean-to I want to get to after that, depending on what time it is. So just keep enjoying this flat water for a little bit and we'll see when we get there. Made it down to Racket Falls. The iconic carry sign that has the broken canoe on it. So I have to climb up that hill with all my stuff. This portage trail is kind of 50-50 wheelable, not wheelable, so we'll see how well my heavy duty wheels do. See if I can wheel most of it, but if not, we'll have to carry what we have to and we'll get to the other side when we get there. In case you're curious how much of a climb this is, that's the river. Way down there. Brutal. In case you're curious what I'm portaging around, it's gnarly. For as god awful as the start of this portage was, up all those rocks and a ton of elevation, this is quite beautiful. I'm actually quite enjoying this. Morning of day 4. Kind of had a tough decision to make this morning. The forecast today is going to be brutally cold. quite a bit of rain. So my choices were stay at that lean-to I stayed at last night and just be cold and sit around all day and sleep again there and wait till tomorrow to go anywhere, but that doesn't sound any more fun to me than paddling in cold rain. So I'd rather be paddling and try to get warm. And it's just after 6 o'clock, so I think maybe if the rain is just coming this afternoon, I can hustle and get to another site farther down, and at least then I'll have been warm all day and not just sitting around. So I'm gonna get to paddling, see where I get to. Looking for Stony Creek, which leads into Stony Creek ponds, and then I have a portage over to the Saranac lakes. So see how it goes. Hopefully the rain holds off till this afternoon. Well, I made it the 5 miles down to Stony Creek. This is normally like a twisty, windy path that you have to follow through here, but it's so flooded, I'm pretty sure I can shortcut most of it. And won't have to fight it too much. It's technically upstream, but with so much water, there isn't really any current. So I'll paddle up here until I hit Stony Creek Pond, and then I have a portage over to Saranac. Here I sit under a bridge on Stony Creek Ponds. Mother Nature is blessing me with more rain for the 4th day in a row. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. Craig, the river steward, reached out to me and offered to give me a ride to a motel in town for the night, just because it's gonna be so cold tonight. And I'm soaked, and this is the stuff I have to sleep in if I'm gonna stay warm, since it's only gonna be like 32 degrees or something. So I might take him up on that. I don't think he can get me until later, so I might end up just hunkered down for a little while. Somewhere, I don't know. The site I wanted to get to today is only 13 miles away, but I don't really feel like doing this in pouring rain again. So the weather's supposed to be nicer tomorrow, so I might take advantage of the offer and go get a warm shower and a warm bed for a night, and then come back and start fresh tomorrow in the sunshine. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, here I sit in the pouring rain at Indian Carry, waiting for a ride to a hotel in Saranac Lake. I have no more dry clothes. It's going to be 30 degrees tonight. So someone offered, and I'm going to take them up on the offer, and they'll bring me back in the morning, and I'll start fresh with dry clothes, hopefully. We'll see how that goes.